So you can make a lot of money in a very short period of time. For example, I just turned $1,400 into $52,000 last week.
So you're saying you turned $1,400 to how much?
Sports betting is an entertainment business. At the end of the day, a lot of people don't like to accept that, and they think that sports aren't rigged or anything like that. And
so what's the cheapest you can actually get into sports betting with?
there's somebody put like 27 cents on that parlay that I was telling you about, and that turned into like $245.
Sean, how do you go from working in the corporate world to making over 6 figures a month sports betting?
Well, actually, the reason why I make so much sports betting now is because I worked in the corporate world. So I guess I'll probably take it back to how I got started sports betting in the first place.
Yeah.
I was in 10th grade, and I used to play Madden and FIFA, and these are video games for like soccer and football.
Wow.
And they have these game modes called Ultimate Team. So Ultimate Team just allows you to buy players from like all different teams and put them on one team. So, you know, you can get Joe Burrow and Odell Beckham Jr. on the same team. So Ultimate Team has a virtual currency that allows you to buy and sell the players. And I was so kind of like obsessed with this game mode. I didn't really have anything to do because my parents were super strict, so they would never let me go out the house. So I'd be on the game all the time. And I had a Twitter for Ultimate Team. So, you know, I would contact people so that way I could like trade players with them and stuff. And like we would play games against each other and like wager coins on it. And since I had that Twitter, I learned that people started wagering the virtual currency from the video games on real life sporting events. So like they would bet on the Super Bowl, but with the virtual currency.
Wow.
So that kind of got me started, and I made so much virtual currency that I started selling that virtual currency for real money. And then I started taking that real money and betting on sports.
How old were you at the time when you got into sports betting?
I was in 10th grade, so what was that, like 15, 16, something like that?
Wow, so you've been doing this for like a decade.
Yeah, it's been a pretty long time.
Wow, man. So how was your first week in sports betting? Like, how'd that first week go?
My first week was actually insane. So I don't remember the exact year, but it was when Duke and Wisconsin were playing in a national championship game for basketball.
Yeah.
And it was also MLB opening day. So I remember I took a parlay. A parlay is when you combine a bunch of different teams and for one bet, and it'll have a super high payout. The caveat to it is that all of these bets have to hit. So if I have 5 teams in one parlay, all 5 of those teams need to win or whatever for that parlay to hit. If 4 of them win and 1 loses, the entire parlay loses. So I threw a $50 in a parlay, and I ended up turning that into like $1,000 overnight. Wow. So in a few hours, I turned $50 into $1,000, and like from there, I was.
I know that was like mind blowing.
Yeah. As a kid in 10th grade, I felt like I'm the richest kid in school. Like nobody could tell me anything. Like I just felt great.
Wow, man. So like, I mean, did you lose anything your first week? Because some people may try sports betting and they might lose something. Like, what was your first week like? How much did you lose and stuff? Did you lose anything?
So I lost like individual bets, but the thing about sports betting is like you can lose bets and still be profitable. So you're never going to win 100% of your bets. It's impossible, or else sports betting wouldn't even be a thing. Yeah. Because Vegas would be out of business. But I lost like individual bets, but I ended up profitable. So I had turned my first $75 into $10,000 total in a summer. And then after that, I took a lot of that money. And
Wait. You just said you turned $75 into $10,000?
Yeah.
How the heck did you do that?
So it was it started off with the parlay that got me like a nice kickstart. And then, I was consecutively
What's the parlay?
winning.
What's that?
Yeah. It's like I said, when you combine a bunch of teams to win. So
when you're combining these teams, are you combining, like, what sport is it? Because sports betting is basically all sports, right? It's football, basketball, hockey. So, like, what sports was you doing?
For that parlay specifically, it was baseball and college basketball, but I bet on everything. I bet on hockey, football, soccer. I bet on even Korean baseball.
Wow. How did you know these different industries? Like, how do you research this industry to know who's going to win or who's not going to win?
So there's definitely a science to it. I can't give you all the sauce, but I was a quant trader.
Give us the sauce, Sean. Give us the sauce. What's the sauce?
If you want the sauce, you can join the GOAT Sports Telegram where I'll give you my picks, but that's about it. But as far as how I learned this, so like I said, I've been doing this since 10th grade. When I was betting, when I was in high school and stuff, I did it more recreationally.
Yeah.
So, just as for fun. And like I was always obsessed with sports, so I knew a lot about sports, so I knew which sides to go to. Once I got to college.
So you said you knew what sites to go to?
Sides, like which teams are, more likely to win in a particular game and different things like that.
So like, how do you know a team's going to win? Give us a few tips. Like, do you look at their track records in the past and see, like, how do you know? Give us some type of advice.
Yeah, I mean, I look at a lot of trends, so it gets really obscure as far as my research. Like, I might even go as far far as seeing a trend that every single time a particular referee referees a game, the home team covers their spread. So I'll look at something as obscure as that and then look at other statistics and then combine that and come up with an answer as to which side I'm going to bet on.
So does referees are the same? So when you're doing sports betting and stuff like that, are all referees like kind of the same?
No, definitely not. Referees, sports betting is an entertainment business at the end of the day. A lot of people don't like to accept that, and they think that sports aren't rigged or anything like that, and that, the better team is going to win. But that's not always the case. As you can see, there's always big upsets in sports, and it's for a reason. So depending on particular, variables in a game, let's say like a baseball game, for example, like some people might not think that the weather plays a part in a baseball game, but it will. If the wind is blowing in from like home plate, then it's less likely that they're going to score a lot of runs in that game. Different things like that. So I look at all that stuff, and that's how I bet.
Wow. So give us 3 sports betting secrets. Like, what's the secret?
The secret is not having any bias. So you can lose a lot of money if you're biased in sports. So like me, I am a Chicago sports fan, everything, but like I know to never include any Chicago sports teams in my bets because I always have bias towards them. So definitely don't have any bias. I would say that the key to being a profitable sports bettor is definitely proper risk management. A lot of people will risk all their money on a single bet.
How much do you think when somebody is starting sports betting, how much should they invest to get started to make some type of significant income?
I don't think that there's any particular amount. It's always what you're comfortable with losing. And, sports betting is like compounding interest. So you can make a lot of money in a very short period of time. For example, I just turned $1,400 into $52,000 last week.
We got to clap for that. So you're saying you turned $1,400 to how much?
$52,000.
$52,000. How did you feel flipping that?
I felt good because it's just rewarding to know that I put so much perfection into my craft and it's nice seeing it pay off. But I try to remain indifferent to the amount of money that I make because at the end of the day, I have a chat. So I send out my picks to over 5,000 members in the chat, and I really care more about making other people money. I'm at the stage in my betting career where making the money is nice, but I enjoy, making other people money. Like a perfect example, my chat just gave out a plus 30,000 odds parlay the other day. So the way that odds work is plus 30,000 means that if you bet $100 on that bet, that'll turn into $30,000.
So you telling me the bets before it happens, and then your mentees can just go there and do the same bets that you're making and make money on those bets?
Yeah, absolutely. So
do you lose on those bets?
We win way more than we lose, so everybody's pretty profitable. So you can join the GOAT Sports Telegram, and you can know absolutely nothing.
How much are you charging us to join this Telegram?
It's $60 a month, $2
Oh, only $60 a month?
Only $60 a month.
Man, that's insane. That's a plug.
Yeah.
To get information on how to actually start a sports betting business for only $60 a month.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's just a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's also you don't need to know anything about sports betting. So we have people that don't watch sports at all, that they simply just follow our picks and they'll copy and paste what we do. So you can have no knowledge on sports or anything, and it's completely foolproof.
So what's the last tip that you're going to give them? Because we asked for 3 tips. What's the last tips, the secret of sports betting?
The last tip I would say is just always bet money that you're willing to lose. While we may be profitable, you know, there's always times where you're going to lose, and just make sure, don't throw your rent money on a bet. That's pretty dumb. You're going to end up homeless if you do that.
Yeah. What's the most you ever lost doing sports betting?
In a single day, actually, no, I'll talk about a particular team. So this actually happened last NFL season. I had some sort of affinity for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I kept betting on them in consecutive weeks, and I would bet 10,000 per game, and they lost me 3 weeks in a row. So I lost $30K just on the Buccaneers alone. It was crazy.
Wow. How did you feel just losing $3K just like that?
It sucked for sure. But like I said, I win a lot more than I lose. So, seeing the money lose on a particular bet really sucked at the time, but my other bets throughout the week made up for it.
What do you think about gambling? Do you think sports betting is like a gamble?
Yeah, definitely. It's super risky if not done right. Like I said, if you don't have proper risk management and you're throwing your rent money on a bet and then that bet loses, all your money's gone. Versus if you throw 5 to 10% of that money on a bet, that bet loses, but then you win the next 3 bets, you're going to be profitable.
What are some criteria you look for when you're trying to have risk management?
Like I said, so the number one thing is just always betting with money that you're willing to lose. But I would say I like to stick to that 5 to 10% of your bankroll per bet. So, if you have $5,000, you might only want to bet 500 to, or actually 250 to 500 per bet.
So what's the cheapest you can actually get into sports betting with?
People literally put like $5, $1. Somebody put like 27 cents on that parlay that I was telling you about, and that turned into like $245. So you can literally bet any dollar amount. Like, it's not limited to your bankroll size. So if you have $50 that you're willing to lose, start with $5 bets and build up from there. You compound these bets. So like a lot of the times you're doubling your money with each bet that you take. So the first bet that you take, if you risk $5 on it, you're going to turn that $5 into $10. And then you're going to turn that $10 into $20, and so on and so forth.
So like, how do you even get started sport betting? Like, what site do you go to? Like, how do you get started with it?
Yeah, so it really depends on where you're located in the United States or country, period, because sports betting is legal in different states and then illegal in some states. So like, we're here in Florida, sports betting isn't particularly legal here. So the way that you get around that is by using offshore sports betting sites. But if you're in somewhere like New York or Illinois, like Chicago or something, sports betting is legal there. So you can use apps like FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, things like that.
Wow. So like, how you just go download these apps? What's the app name again?
There's FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars. There's so many of them.
And basically, you just go download these apps, then you create an account, then you can just place any bet you want.
Yeah, you deposit whatever money that you want to deposit. So let's say you want to put $200 in there. You put $200 in there. If you're in the GOAT Sports chat, we'll send you out the picks, and you literally just copy and paste those picks, put it on your app, put however much you want to risk on it, and then just let the pick cash. Like, there's no hard labor or anything involved.
So it's really simple and easy to just download the app and just start betting.
Yeah, super simple. As a matter of fact, like, we're here on this podcast right now, and I have a bet placed that's about to cash me for $3,200.
What's that bet?
It's a baseball game, so I have a Cleveland Guardians money line right now.
So every sport. Like, a lot of people out there don't know like what's going on in basketball. They don't know what's going on in football. Because a lot of people like to invest in things they understand.
Right.
So what do you tell a person who don't understand baseball? You may be like, hey, this baseball game's going to do good, but what's your advice on investing in things that you understand? Do you advise people to just invest in the sport that they understand?
Absolutely not. I advise people to invest in the people that they trust. So somebody like me that has a proven track record and that I'm a profitable sports bettor and I have a community where I give out my picks, like, I'm trustworthy because I document all my wins, all my losses. I keep it extremely transparent.
Wow.
So if I'm telling you, hey, I won this bet, I lost this bet, I won this much, I made this much, or I lost this much, it gets people to trust me, and they see my expertise, and then they'll start tailing my picks based off of me being transparent with them.
Wow. So you feel mentorship is key to success in sports betting?
Absolutely. You always want to do business with somebody that you can trust. So, I'm not going to go pay for somebody's picks that I don't trust them at all. They're not transparent. They don't show me, their win percentage or how many wins they have, how many losses they have. It just makes no sense.
So you always like to listen to people who already have done it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So did you gain mentorship when you were starting out?
I didn't gain mentorship in particular because I was pretty knowledgeable in sports myself, but there's definitely people that I looked up to, and I would see, they would put out a particular pick, and I would try to reverse engineer and see how they came up with, that particular decision to take that specific team.
What are some few sites that people can go to actually see, to know how to understand each team?
YouTube University. Everything that I've learned was through YouTube and Google and stuff.
What do you search on YouTube?
You want to start with the basics. So you want to, what is sports betting? Look up some of the terminology and stuff like that. There's a lot of resources. I even have a resource that we've designed to teach everybody the basics. So we have a guide once you join the chat that if you know nothing about sports
Give us some free tips, Sean. What's some free tips for us to go to YouTube right now and type in this team and how we can navigate with the team to see how we can win a game? Just give us one tip.
Let's take baseball, for example. So when you're looking at baseball, what you really want to focus on are the statistics of the pitcher. So pitching is the most important position in baseball. If you have a horrible pitcher, these batters are going to score a lot of runs. It's just basic science. So you want to look at a pitcher's ERA, their WHIP, which is their walks and hits per inning. You want to look at different statistics like that, see how they match up against the particular batters of the other team. And then you want to focus on the lines of the game. So if a team is negative 200 to win, their odds are negative 200, that means that they're more likely to win. So you want to do more research based off of that.
Wow. So basically, sports betting, a lot of people, I don't know anything about baseball, right? I don't even know who pitched who, where anything is at, right? So you advise the best way for us to win in those industries is just getting a mentor that actually know that, and you could just follow that mentor advice.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes all the work out of it. So, a lot of people that are sports betting or that are in our chat and stuff, like this is not what they do full time. Some
Yeah.
people work, they don't have time to go do all this research and hours of research on sports betting.
Wow.
But they still want to be involved. So, follow somebody that you trust and
Yeah.
take their picks.
How many students do you have?
In our chat, we have 4,600 members currently.
Wow, 4,600 members.
Yes.
Wow, that's insane, man. I know you changed a lot of people's life because I heard a lot of great things about you, and people was talking about how you changed their life, man. Kudos to that, man. I want to toast to you for helping people and changing their life out there.
Thank you.
So now we know you're the king of sports betting.
Right.
So now take us back. How did you get started with this whole sports betting thing? What was you doing before? What was the career that you had?
Yeah, so I started sports betting in high school, but I was always particularly good at school, I guess. Like I had really strict parents, so like, getting a B was like not something that I could do. I would get my ass beat, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I was always a straight A student. I went on to college. I went to University of Miami. I graduated top of my class.
Wow.
And I went on to be a trader at a world-class hedge fund.
Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. So how old were you when you moved to Miami?
I was about 12.
Oh, you moved out here. So what was your first job that you had before you got into sports betting?
I worked at Panera Bread.
You worked at Panera Bread?
Yeah.
Wow.
I worked there for about 3 months, and then I went to work at a frozen yogurt shop, and then I quit there, and that was my last job.
So like, how did you even get introduced to sports betting?
Through playing video games, so through playing Madden and FIFA, I made a Twitter specifically just for Madden and FIFA, like where it was like faceless, like people didn't know what I looked like or anything. It wasn't tied to like my personal Twitter.
Yeah.
And then I started finding people that played Madden and FIFA, and like there was people there that were betting, so they
Wow.
introduced me to it. But
Yeah.
I didn't have any money at the time, so I had asked my older brother when I wanted to get into it with real money. I asked him
Yeah.
for $75, and he gave me $75, and I started sports betting like that.
That's insane. So like, how's your relationship? Like, I know you're making a lot of money now. How's your relationship like? Well, how's your girl? You have a girl or what?
Yeah, I do. I've been with my girl for 2 years. My relationship is great. She's in law school, so she's definitely doing something with her life too.
Does she like you doing sports betting, or like does she always like? Because some girls, when you start doing a career that you're starting new, they're like, hey, don't you think? Or she's very supportive.
No, she's extremely supportive of whatever I tell her. Like I can tell her I want to go start fishing, and like she's gonna support me.
So you think supporting a supportive woman is key to any success?
Yeah, 100%. I think that having like a strong woman behind you will make you more successful in business.
So your woman helped you become more successful.
Yeah, she's definitely, just her being supportive and like nurturing and like taking care of everything at home has allowed me to focus on my craft.
Nice. So how's your family think about you, like making all this money now, and like how do they look at you now?
They're definitely really proud. My parents, like I said, that they were always super strict, so they've always had high expectations of me. So this is like always been expected of them. The benefit that I had is that my dad is an entrepreneur himself. So like me going from the corporate world to becoming a professional sports bettor was never like an issue because they understand what it is to be like an entrepreneur.
What kind of entrepreneurship career is your dad in? Like, what do he do?
He owns a tech company, so he does like a lot of IT work.
Oh, wow. That's insane. So you guys had that entrepreneurship background from your mom and your dad, and that came to you.
Right.
So give us some advice. What would you tell somebody who's trying to get into sports betting right now?
I would say, like I said, research the basics. So understand like money lines and totals and different things like that. And based on the particular sport that you're betting, look up what the most important statistics are from that sport, and it'll give you a way to determine what team will win a game.
How do you find those statistics?
There's ESPN, there's a website called StatMuse. I use that. So I can literally type in on StatMuse, how many points did Giannis Antetokounmpo average versus the Miami Heat? And like it'll show me every single game that he's ever played against the Miami Heat in his career. I can look up, how many points does LeBron score when he's defended by Steph Curry, for example. And it'll show me all of that. So websites like that. So
you think sports betting is a safe investment?
If done correctly, absolutely. If you have proper risk management, if you understand what you're doing and know like the basics behind it, absolutely, you can make a lot of money from sports betting, and it's like a perfect side hustle.
What's the most you made in a day?
The most that I've made in a day is $25,000.
$25,000?
Yes.
Wow. What's the most you help a person make in a day?
Somebody in the chat just turned $100 into like 45K the other day.
This guy is changing people's life.
Yeah, that's honestly the best part of it. Like I said, I enjoy making the money, of course, and doing it professionally. But like now, all I care about is taking care of other people and seeing other people make life-changing money.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. So, Sean, how do you make $100,000 a year in sports betting?
$100,000 a year in sports betting. So it really depends on the amount that you start off with.
Yeah.
So give me a dollar amount that you want to start off with, for example.
So what's a dollar amount somebody can start off with?
You can really start off with as low as $50, $20, whatever.
Yeah.
I personally started off with $75, so I built it from there. But most recently, like I mentioned, that I turned $1,400 into $52K in a week. So that's not necessarily something that's common, but it's definitely possible. There's people that turn a smaller amount of money into even more money in less time.
Is it on the same team? Like, are you betting on the same team, or are you doing different teams when you're doing these sports betting? Are you
different teams in different sports? But depending on like a particular team may be hot, so I might look to bet them more often than not. So let's say like a baseball series is typically like 3 or 4 games. Where the same 2 teams play each other for like 3 or 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
So in a particular series, I might bet on the first game, I might bet on one team, and the second game, I might bet on the same team, but the third game, I might bet on the other team.
Wow. So if I have $25, I can make a 6-figure income.
Yeah, absolutely. There's like a challenge that I run that you can turn $10 into $10,000 in 10 days. So the way that it works is that you keep on compounding your bets. So you want to start off on day 1, you want to risk that entire $10 on one bet. And then that bet hits, so you have $20 now. On day 2, you turn that $20 into $40. Day 3, you turn it $40 into $80, and so on and so forth. That by the 10th day, you'll turn that $10 into $10,000 if you hit 10 bets in a row.
And you're choosing different bets.
Yeah. So like when I run that challenge, I'll have my most confident pick. So like let's say in a particular day, I'll put out 3 different bets. So 3 different sports, 3 different teams. But one of those bets I feel the best about, the strongest. Like I just know that this one's gonna win. So that's the one that I would recommend for the challenge.
How do you find your bets without a mentor? Because a lot of people out there, maybe some people out there can't afford $60 a month.
Right.
How do they do it?
So like something that's very telling in sports betting is line reading. So every game has a line. Let's say for baseball, for example, there's a money line. Money line just means that you're picking that team to win.
Yeah.
So let's say one team may be negative 200. That means that you have to put $200 on that to win $100. And then the team that they're facing is the underdog, and their odds are plus 150. That means that if you put $100 on them, you'll win 150. So throughout the days, as these money lines are being bet on, they start to fluctuate. So that negative 200 might go down to negative 190. That means now you only have to risk 190 to win 100.
Yeah.
I look at things like that, and very close to the games, Vegas will move the money line. And it'll move towards a team that's more likely to win. And that's really telling. So I look at something like that, like maybe 20 minutes before a game, there's a huge fluctuation in the money line for a particular side. I'll look at something like that, and I'll take a bet based off that.
Wow. Man, this guy's a genius. I can consider you as a genius at sports betting. So what's some things that you want to tell us before we head out of here about sports betting, Sean?
Not necessarily about sports betting, but just in life and being an entrepreneur. You can do anything you set your mind to. I never pictured that I'd be in the position that I am today, that, I can take care of my parents, pay all their bills, pay all my bills, and, do very well for myself, especially at a young age. But I've always believed in myself. So, when I was young, I used to tell my parents that I was going to be the first black president. Wow. Obama, beat me to it. Shout out to him. So I stopped having that goal. But, I really believed in my mind I was going to be the first.
You still want to be a
president?
president?
No, I don't. That's too stressful. But I've always believed in my mind that I was going to be the president. So, even on this podcast right now, I can go and tell you, you know what? I'm going to go be an NBA basketball player. And, I'm going to go be an NBA basketball player. It doesn't matter if you tell me, bro, you're not going to be an NBA basketball player. It doesn't matter what the outside world does. I have that belief in myself. So, you just always want to have self-belief and tell yourself that you can do whatever you set your mind to, and you're going to be able to accomplish that.
That's 100% true. So what's some 5 secrets to success to you? What's your 5 secrets to success?
I would say that the number 1 secret to success is definitely discipline. You're not going to get anywhere with discipline. And a lot of people look for motivation in life. So, I'm not motivated to start this shit. I'm not motivated to start the gym. I'm not motivated to do whatever. Motivation is only going to get you so far because it comes and goes. But when you're disciplined, you're going to do something no matter what. So somebody that's like a gym rat, for example, I'm sure that they don't want to go to the gym every day, but they're so disciplined into going to the gym that they're going to go regardless. So I would say being disciplined is definitely number 1. I would say number 2 is being confident. I feel like you can get anywhere in the world with confidence.
Yeah.
You know, for example, my boy Arlana, the way that he started off his career was he was confident enough to go up to a bodyguard at Drake, outside of Drake's party, and tell him that he has a painting for Drake that his dad wanted to surprise him with. And, you know, look at him now. He has a multi-million-dollar empire in painting.
Yes.
He was confident. So when you're confident, you have that swagger, that belief in yourself, whatever, like nobody's going to question you.
Yeah.
If I sit here and tell you, oh, Beyonce's my girlfriend, and I say that with confidence, you're going to be like, damn, isn't Beyonce like married to Jay-Z?
Yeah.
But if I'm telling you that confidently, it might make you a little bit skeptical about that. So, you know, getting people to believe whatever it is that you're telling them, I would say is number 2. Number 3, just be organized. You know, being sloppy isn't going to get you anywhere. Number 4, I would say just consistency. Consistency is definitely key. You know, you want to wake up every day and keep on working towards that goal. You know, you're not going to make it overnight. You know, I wasn't a profitable sports bettor overnight. I had to keep on going at it, keep on going at it, keep on going at it. And then eventually I learned it. So consistency is definitely key. And then last, I would say just having a good team around you. It's impossible to do things by yourself. It really takes a village. So when you're around like-minded individuals and successful individuals, you're going to be successful as well.
That's 100% true. I always tell people that if you're not motivated, stay consistent, because consistency will bring back your motivation.
Absolutely.
You know, you just got to stay consistent, because the more you stay consistent, your motivation is just going to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, that's insane, man. I'm so glad I learned a lot about sports betting today. I know everybody who's watching learned a lot about sports betting today as well. So what else you want to share with us before we head out of here, Sean?
I would say that I'm not also a sports bettor. I do a lot of videography work, so I'm pretty passionate about content creation and things like that. So yeah,
I've seen you do some dope content.
Yeah, something like that. I'm actually the creative director of Art Beast now. So, you know, we're building a painting empire and artistry empire and things like that. So.
Shout out to my boy Art too. He's killing it down there in Miami.
Yeah,
he's killing it in Miami
crazy.
here. Yeah, he's doing a great job. I've seen his all his art and every single thing that he's doing, working with 6ix9ine and all these different things.
Around the streets here. You'll see it on some cars all the time.
Yeah, I always see his art everywhere.
Yeah, I'll be outside of the gym.
That guy's like
that
guy's insane.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah, so man, I'm so glad for having you on here, man. I know a lot of people who've been trying to get into sports betting want to know everything. I know they learned a lot being on here. How do these people get in contact with you?
You can hit me up on Instagram or any social at WHNSA. That's my social media name for like everything: Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I also have a lot of free content, so I have a lot of educational content for the people that aren't in my chat that still want to learn about sports betting. You know, I drop gems all the time. So
where is that at?
It'll be on Instagram. It's on my stories.
Do you ever post those on YouTube?
I'm actually just started a YouTube channel, so I will be.
So everybody, y'all
YouTube.
make sure y'all go subscribe to Sean YouTube channel right now. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Because if you want to get into sports betting, this guy right here is the truth.
Absolutely.
All the information, I'm learning so much about sports betting just hanging around you. I never knew people was making that much money doing sports betting.
Yeah. People make way more money than me.
That's insane. You make like what? How much you make today?
Today I'm up $9,000.
$9,000. How much you invested?
So I risked like $3,000 per pick to win like $3,000. So the first bet hit, I took the profits, that $3,000 profit, I threw it all on the next bet. So the worst case scenario, if the second bet lost, I would just break even. Second bet won, so I was up $6,000. Took half of that, threw it on the third bet, that won. So now I'm up $9,000.
So there's different bets all from 24 hours.
Yeah. Sports betting is 24/7. When you're asleep, there's Korean baseball going on. There's tennis like across the world going on. When you're awake, like today's Saturday, college football, baseball, all throughout the day.
How many teams are there out there?
Man, in college football, I think there's like 250 teams. So imagine this.
Oh, wow. So you can bet on college, actually the major league and everything?
Yeah, everything. You can even bet on esports. So people that play video games professionally, like you can bet on that too.
Wow, that's big. Yeah. So you can really like go in and even spend $100,000 and you can have that option to even spend $100,000 on different teams and just see who wins.
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane.
You can even bet on player props. So you might not want to bet on
What do you mean about player props? What is player props?
So player props are like stat projections for particular players. So you might not want to bet on a specific team to win or lose a game.
Yeah.
But your favorite player might be Jimmy Butler or something. So you want to bet on Jimmy Butler to score a certain amount of points. So like his player prop, his stat projection will be at like, let's say 27.5 points.
Yeah.
So he can either score more or less than that. If you bet on the over and he scores 28 points or more, you won. If you bet on the under and he only scores 15 points, like you'll win.
Yeah.
So you can bet on things like that. You can bet on a particular player to grab a certain number of rebounds, a player to hit a home run. Like, there's no limitations on what you can do.
Wow, that's insane, man. Sean, it was wonderful having you on here on the journey today, man. I'm so excited to hear your journey and everything that you do in your life. Man, everybody who's on the podcast right now, make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. And make sure you go check him out on YouTube and watch all his amazing content on sports betting. You do not want to miss any of those content because it's valuable and it would change your life.
Absolutely. Shout out to the biggest podcast in the world. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe.
We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Let's get it.
All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.